My favorite sport is surfing, and it's taught me some great lessons about defining my limits, understanding conditions, and sometimes that my mere survival is basically luck. Great story of this would be when I was about 19 years old. I went out surfing with a buddy of mine who took me to a significant wintertime break in Southern California. I'd only surfed for a few years at this point, and the conditions were very big, but you couldn't really tell until you actually got out to the size of these waves. I was on the only surfboard I had, and it was far too small for me in normal conditions, let alone in big conditions like this was. So my buddy catches a couple waves, and I think, you know what, I can do this. So I paddled into a set wave, was somewhere between 10 and 12 feet, so 3 to 4 meters in height, and I actually made it. It was amazing. It was an incredible feeling, the sensation of going toward the earth, over the earth, on a moving mountain of water is something that's really difficult to describe to someone who's never surfed. It was absolutely magical. So I figured, I got this, that's not that hard, right? So paddled back out, waited for another set wave, paddled into the same size wave, about 10, 12 foot, started dropping into the wave, and everything went wrong. I stuffed my rail, which is basically taking the inside of your edge of your surfboard and you stuff it inside the wave. It caused me to fall forward. I fell into what's the mid-trough of the wave. The wave picked me up and started slamming me down underwater, kind of like a washing machine. And it had never been held under that long before. I didn't know how long I should be there. And I started to panic, and I was spinning and spinning and spinning. So I started to swim, thinking I could get back to the surface. As I swam, my leash on my surfboard went straight. What that actually told me was I was swimming the exact wrong direction. I was swimming down rather than back to the surface of the water. So I scratched back up to the surface of the water. Right as I break the surface, I get about a third of a breath in my lungs of air. Another set wave hits me, this time right on the forehead. And my first thought is, I'm never going to survive this. I don't have enough air in my lungs. I barely survived the other one with a breath of air in me. And now this is happening a second time. I can't survive this. So I gave up. So thinking in my head, I'm not going to survive. Weird way to die. And my buddy's going to have to fish me out of the ocean. I felt bad about that too. I gave up. By giving up, I actually didn't fight the ocean anymore. The ocean actually did what it had to do to me. But at the end, it allowed me to come back up to the surface. So I kind of came to at the surface, not realizing it. And I realized that I'd survived. And it told me in that moment that sometimes the limits that you think you have aren't the limits you actually have. And the things that you think you're capable of, you're maybe not ready for them yet. But at the end of it, sometimes it comes down to just sheer luck. And that's what I learned that day surfing with my buddy.